Similar to the decline of Sussex, Meghan Markle was taken down by Jeremy Clarkson. Greetings and a hearty welcome to the official YouTube channel for all things related to UK royal news trend. To everyone's knowledge, Jeremy Clarkson's column in the Sun newspaper about Meghan Markle caused a firestorm. When asked why he hated Meghan so much, he wrote a column in which he compared her to a serial killer who, along with Meghan's husband, was responsible for the deaths of 9 young women. He crammed in a Game of Thrones reference by saying he hoped Meghan Markle would perform a naked walk of shame in the style of Cersei Lannister. Clarkson failed to achieve his comedic goal badly. Contrary to popular belief, he does not consider Meghan to be less dangerous than serial killers. It seems extreme even to someone who is familiar with Clarkson's writings and musings. If he was being hyperbolic, he didn't make it clear. Clarkson is known for making absurd claims and is essentially a professional troll posing as a journalist. But he's a smart guy, and his article was so out there, at odds with his typical laddish banter introductions, that it invited the level of controversy and number of complaints that it did. Since content of this nature is subject to editorial oversight, questions have been raised as to how it was published at all. There is a line that cannot be crossed in terms of criticism, and Clarkson fundamentally fails to state why he thinks Meghan Markle is worse than a serial killer. The onslaught of criticism directed at Clarkson has parallels in cancel culture. He has the right to his opinion, but his article could be considered hateful. You are more likely to toe the line on matters of the day if your livelihood depends on it, and the people who cancel culture preys upon are those who may be financially incapable of recovering from making such controversial statements. Clarkson represents a figure who cannot be terminated in this fashion. He has millions of dollars, so he won't have to worry if cancel culture succeeds in making it so that he never has to work again. He is still at liberty to express himself in this controversial manner. This is a gamble in which the target's credibility is undermined by an assault on their reputation. This portrayal of Clarkson as an angry, middle-aged man, sexist, misogynist, hateful bully, etc. has stuck. The best-case scenario would be if he finally caved in to his dwindling reputation and issued an apology, which he did. That there is a line that can be crossed beyond which criticism of public figures is universally condemned is something I think we can learn from this whole episode. Not sure if Meghan will comment on this. Doing so would disprove her belief that the British press and public are inherently bigoted. Justifiable backlash shows that such bigotry exists only in the minds of a tiny minority who, if they have any profile at all, are widely condemned by the British public. While this is going on, another viewer chimes in to tell us, I never would have written it, at least not in the way he did. At the very least, I would have chosen different words. Instead of going into great detail about nudity and the flinging of excrement, I would have made a veiled reference to Cersei's walk of shame. Maybe 50% of the people who read it understood that it was a reference to Game of Thrones and not just Jeremy Clarkson's sadistic imagination running wild. How about we dissect this? The fictional character Cersei from the HBO series of Game of Thrones was a cruel, ruthless, manipulative villain responsible for the destruction of countless lives. She was given some measure of karma when she was found guilty and sentenced to an atonement, a form of punishment common in the Middle Ages. This punishment was meted out equally to both sexes and consisted of the offender walking naked through the streets while being verbally abused and subjected to the public's throwing of garbage at them. Clarkson did not come up with this idea. It was taken from the most watched television show at the time, which was based on a book or books already in circulation. It's funny, but I don't think anyone has ever said that the creators of Game of Thrones are misogynists. The point, after all, was for a villain to get what they deserved. Clarkson has used this kind of biting wit in his career, and it has been effective against both male and female targets. The female author would not have been accused of misogyny if she had written the same article, perhaps harshness, but definitely not misogyny. Clarkson would have been able to get away with this if he had written it about a man like Trump or Piers Morgan. A man who hates Markle and wouldn't mind seeing her pay for her transgressions is, of course, a misogynist. Hold on a sec. If that's the case, then why aren't half of the women in the world sexist as well? As an added disclaimer, Jeremy Clarkson is not the man to consult with or read if you're hoping for a dose of sugar, spice, and everything nice. What in the name of God is going on in the world today? If everyone is going to be offended by everything, at least let them know what it is that has offended them. Just because something is in poor taste or inappropriate does not mean it is racist or sexist. There are many of us. Being a victim or a martyr is not appealing to me. They were not forced to resign from their positions as senior royals and made that decision on their own. As such, you must accept the repercussions of your choice: no taxpayer-funded security, no grace and favor residence, etc. A lot of people are getting tired of the constant barrage of attacks, which includes both direct and indirect jabs. Many allegations are made, but few facts are presented in support. To me, that's being dishonest. Their story, which invariably involves racism, is getting old as well. Can you believe there are still racists and bigots in the world today? Certainly. Overall, though, they were given a warm welcome in Britain due to the disproportionately high number of people of color in many Commonwealth countries. The late Queen herself remarked that Meghan's mixed heritage was an asset. The criticism they received was not based on their race, but on their actions. All they have is a sense of victimhood and racism. Instead of just pretending to help people, I wish they would throw themselves into genuine volunteer efforts, but maybe I'm asking too much here. That royal work was actually something they didn't appreciate. Observe the Princess Royal. There isn't a day that goes by where she doesn't accomplish more than most people do in 2 weeks. Rather than opening a train station in 40-degree rain or visiting a hospice, I think Meghan expected to spend her time as a royal swanning around in couture, jewels, and a tiara. Meghan Markle felt degraded when she learned that a royal's job was one of public service. It had not occurred to her that she was there to serve others. She insisted on being attended to. She cherished the finery of life, including elaborate ball gowns, tiaras, jewels, and exotic vacations. She dislikes having to get her hands dirty and interact with people she considers to be beneath her. Most people find that particularly abhorrent about her. She yearned for glitz but detested having to put in any effort to achieve it. Just now, HRH, the Princess of Wales, planted a tree in honor of Her Majesty the Queen. Can you imagine Meghan Markle digging in the dirt or even touching a shovel? It would be an overstatement to call her anything close to a humanitarian. I haven't gotten sick of hearing them yet. I'm getting bored of their focus. The situation with the royal family is well known. You can thank Oprah for spreading the word. From a racial perspective, that's something I have no reason to doubt. If you don't have to deal with it every day, it's easy to dismiss it as irrelevant. Her close friends warned her against marrying him because of the potential pain it could cause. They brought up Kate's experience, how the media and some members of the public treated her, and the fact that Kate was not a woman of color. In spite of their fondness for Harry, she was cautioned against marrying him because she would be subjected to worse treatment. To me, it seems like we should move on to other topics. So what about all the organizations they donate to? Can you tell me what they are and what function they serve? Just what are they getting out of it? To what end have they come to the United States? Unless this is just a game in the entertainment industry. But I must confess that my passions lie in the realm of the performing arts, documentaries, podcasts, etc. To be honest, I have only a rudimentary understanding of the game. Does mocking the monarchy get you any clicks? One thing I am certain of is that your time is not worth anything to these businesses unless you can help them generate revenue. My personal opinion only. So, what do you think of the ideas I presented in the video? If you want to show your appreciation, please click like and share to let the world know. If not, please explain why not. And feel free to bring up Harry and Meghan. If you want to show your continued support, please subscribe to the UK Royal News Trend YouTube channel. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. So, until tomorrow, goodbye.